Hi, welcome to Tea Time with Amie and Bev. Good morning.
Good morning.
Happy Tuesday for us right now. It'll be Thursday for our peeps and whatever other day after that.
Yeah, it is a happy Tuesday. It is a happy day. It's funny that you say it like that because I was like getting ready. I'm like, man, today really is. It feels like a good day. Like something good's happening today. That's what it feels like. Today, like everything's good, but
Yeah,
something like extra good is. I don't know. We'll see what happens. We'll see.
be
I mean, most
open.
people
We're not going to see what happens. We're going to be open to what happens.
we're going to be open to what happens. We're going to be aware of what happens. We get to witness it.
We're going to be present to receive what is happening.
Yeah,
That's
like
all we're going
that.
to talk about this whole hour.
That's right. That's right. That's all
how
we
are
need.
we how are we going to word this?
But that's real, right? That's real right there because it's the things that we say to ourselves all the time. It's how we limit ourselves. It's how we put ourselves in a space of lack, even though we think we don't. I'm a person that's full of love and I give love to everybody, but then it's like, but are you allowing to receive that love? It's like there's a lot that goes with our words. And so it really is slowing down. And really, does that sound good? Does that feel good when you say it like that? Because the feel is going to let you know it's like that still doesn't feel right. There's been some things that I would say, and if I could remember it right off the top of my head right now, I'd say it. But it's like I'd say it, and it's like I just couldn't find the comfortable space for it. And I couldn't even find the right words for it. So I just let it go. It's like it'll come to me however it needs to come to me, or however I'm able to receive it and hear it and feel it better.
And most of us, I mean, I know this to be true for myself in my earlier days, is um it was easier to give love than receive it. So, you call yourself a lover, meaning externally towards everybody or everything else, but not yourself. Big difference.
It is a big
So,
difference.
yeah, being able to be in a space to receive love, especially from yourself, that's a whole different practice.
Whole difference. It's funny though, but it goes back to conversations we've had before. Like you talked about getting to know yourself, that you've been getting to know yourself for a long time. And I understood that then, but I understand it even more now because I am taking the time to get to know myself more. I'm actually making a list of what are my passions because I feel like there's more for me that I could be doing that I have kept myself from in the past, restrictions, which goes to, that's what I was looking up when we started this because I got a rash on my hands probably from using too much hand sanitizer, soap, and then lotions and oil, just too much irritating the skin. But it's like it was like a little eruptions of anger, like
Mm.
from inside. So it's like we're not processing things. But it's like there's just so much stuff that's going on that we're just not paying attention to. And there's so much more to us. So I've been making a list of what are my passions? What am I good at? And maybe sometimes we don't know what we're good at, but we've heard people tell us what we're good. Oh, you're so good at that. You're like a natural for that. When you're a natural to something, you don't really put much attention or awareness to it. It's just something that you do. But the more that we get to know ourselves, you put more attention and awareness to those little things that you do, that you like. And so for me, getting to know myself is a lot of those things. Like, well, what is your favorite color? Well, these days I don't have a favorite color. I haven't had a favorite color in years. I like lots of colors,
Right.
right? I like them all.
Yeah.
If I could find outfits every single day that had a little bit of the colors, all colors, well, then I probably would fit my age group fine, or I'm getting into that space that maybe they might fit my age group. But it's like I like to have colors on.
Be like, Bev has lost her damn mind. What is she
That's right. She's wearing these crazy earrings. She's got her hair. She's got a hat on. She's got, whatever. Because for me, it's finding any way to put color on. Anyway, I might
Yeah,
have, it might be down to my bra, my undergarments, and I won't even match them. I'll mix colors because I like to add more colors on.
that's awesome.
Yeah. But just paying attention, right? It's like you go back to you were getting to know yourself and what do I like and what do I don't like? And, what feels good, what doesn't feel good. And it's like, for me, my whole life, I was always aware of everybody else's, what they liked, what was their favorite color, what did they want to do? We talked not that long ago about going shopping and I caught myself like looking for stuff for the other person instead of looking for stuff for me. It's, and it was like, wow. And now that I've slowed down enough to see all this stuff, and I feel like our vibrations are changing so much that we're going so much higher. And the higher we go, we start to see these little things. And it's like, oh, okay, I do that. Oh, that person wasn't very nice, that person. Oh, I've probably been that person before. I mean, I'm witnessing it. I'm aware of it. That's been in my experience. It's all these things that are coming up, and you don't beat yourself up for the stuff. You just like, oh, okay, cool. Look how much I've grown from that.
When you talk about the shopping, looking, you go shopping for yourself. This is a habit or a behavior in my old self is, I just want to go shopping. I can go buy some clothes, right? I'm going on a shopping day. But I made sure to buy my husband, something also to justify why I was going shopping. Right? So I feel so guilty.
It's funny that you say that, but when I would go shopping, I would get stuff for me in the cart, and then I'd get stuff for the kids or for whoever else. And usually, almost always, my shopping trip would encompass me putting stuff back, constantly putting stuff back.
I do that too.
Yeah, it's like, no. And then I'd be like, well, do I really need that? No, I mean, but do we really need anything? Because I think all of our needs are being met in a big way. We're here. So a lot of our needs are.
Is that more of your talk now compared to then? Because then it would have been, oh, I don't need this, but I'm still gonna get these toys for the kids, or I'm still gonna get all this other stuff for the kids or the husband or for the house. But the stuff I picked out for, I don't need it.
Because we're less important, right? We don't value what our wants. We don't, at that time, I always knew that to take care of my kids, right? That's what I knew. I knew that I lived for the kids. I did everything, make sure the kids were always taken care of, and it didn't matter about me. Right. Because I'd managed. I always managed. Everything was always working out for me in the very limited way that I allowed it to work out for me.
And everybody's needs needed to be met first. Because that's what we were taught. So that's what we do. That's what we do.
And then I go back to the whole consumerism, how we've all been raised as consumers. And then because I was thinking about this as I was getting ready, my mom would talk about retail therapy. She'd call it, oh, I'm going to go on some retail therapy. And that's so outside of ourselves. And that just means that there was stuff that was going on that we were trying to fulfill. We didn't understand. So the best way for us to handle it is just let's just go shopping, because that's a distraction. It's nothing more than a distraction like everything else is.
Yeah.
Distracting you from yourself. And now I'm getting to the point where I don't know if a good question for me is like, does that really vibrate with me? Like, is that really at the vibration that I'm at right now? Or is that like my old tendencies? Because my old tendencies would feel, I'd have some days where I'd spurts and spend money. And some days I'd be like, oh, God, I can't spend any money today because, I got to save for the bills, or I got to,
Right.
And we go back to the words. What am I saying to myself? If I got to save for the bills, no, everything's always taken care of. So there's such a contradiction in my own words that I would say, I'm always taken care of, everything's fine. Then I've got this over here struggle that I can't spend any money right now. No, we can't do that. And it's like, oh, but what? And then I even have still caught myself doing this. Well, I probably shouldn't spend that money. What if the kids need something? I want to be able to help the kids out. This has been my words. It's been pretty recent, but like I said, if we weren't vibrating higher, I wouldn't be able to see a lot of these things, because I would just maintain and continue on the same path that I was going, and it never feels good.
And if all your needs are met, so are theirs. It's not just
True.
You, right?
True.
But they have to have that belief that all their needs are met.
I've done that a couple times already in this conversation.
We're just making up words.
That's right. You're welcome.
We're talking about words. We're going to make some shit up today.
What does that mean to me if I look at it from a bigger picture? That's right there, removing the word needs. It's making it needs, like we're automatically correcting ourselves.
Yeah.
Accidentally. Maybe not accidentally.
Maybe not.
But it's interesting because we're changing. That's why I say when you start changing the words, or you start hearing the music and a song in your head and you're singing different lyrics, it's like, well, that went along with that tune. and there's a message there. So just like for us just now, because I've done it like two or three times already. I've said needs instead of the opposite. So it's just like it's the autocorrect.
Auto- Your own autocorrect.
That's right. You're welcome.
So yeah, I mean, we sit, and so so that's interesting when you put it on a bigger picture, though, is that if I'm sitting here and I'm shifting my mindset that all my needs are met, so I don't need to be in a space of worry or a space of lack, and no, all my needs are met, and I hold on to that for myself, then if that's true for me, then it is true for everyone. In some cases, we may not like the way our needs are being met. And we do have an opportunity to do things differently, make choices, change stuff, right? But the fact is, if my needs are being met, that is also true for everyone else.
Because it would be a match in vibrational frequency.
For them.
If your needs are being met, everything around you that presents itself in your experience is being shown to you the same way. It's true.
But they have to believe it for themselves.
They have to believe it for themselves. And then also knowing that, and then letting it go, and then going throughout your day and having a good time. And that goes back to appreciating the moments. Even if it's if it's a way that's being managed, or if your needs are being met by something that's not ideal for you, it's still being met. So there's an appreciation for that. It's finding that appreciation for it. Because it goes back to the same thing you just said. If your needs are met, everybody's needs are met. Everything around you, everything's taken care of. And it's like you got this big picture you're painting, and it's such a beautiful picture. And all of a sudden you throw in a bunch of gray stuff all over the top of it when you start saying the opposite, like, oh, but yeah, but I can't do that right now. Because of this situation, or because my account's not fluffy enough, or however you want to word it. But it's like it's just like, to me, it's like throwing like a gray wash over your beautiful picture.
Yeah, that's good visual. Even, I mean, and I'm gonna like take this to a space of thinking. I've never been homeless, so I'm just thinking of this from a space of what I do know. And from my perspective, their needs are met. Again, going back to the statement I said earlier, we may not like the way the needs are being met, but they are still being met. There are homeless shelters. There's homeless, what do you call them, like tent cities. They might have a cardboard box that they're living in to keep them dry. I mean, there's ways that their needs are being met, and it may not be ideal. We may not see that as ideal. And the way that they, have to get food, or there's soup kitchens for people that are homeless. So it's like, even without the money, their needs are being met in some way. And I can't feel bad enough or be poor enough to change their situation. And we've had this conversation before as well, is that I can be a benefit to society by having a successful business, by having a bigger amount of money in my bank account, because the more I make, the more I can donate. I can volunteer my time to help feed them, or provide like goodie bags for them, or whatever the case may be. So the better we do within ourselves, the more we can contribute to society in ways like that.
And
Awesome.
Yeah, and it's almost, I mean, I really feel like that's the only way, really. Otherwise you're stealing from yourself, or, and I can't say really stealing, but it's like, if you keep giving and giving and giving, and you're tired, and you still keep giving, and you get more tired, pretty soon you can't do anymore. You're not able to do anymore because you're too exhausted or you're sick or whatever happens. So ideally, we we our needs need to be met, and it's we allow how that looks. I mean, each person allows, and just because someone may be homeless or something, maybe that's they're happy. Maybe they don't have to worry about anything. Maybe they don't have any stress, or maybe, I don't know. Like you said, that's not been my experience. But at the same time, there's a lot of freedom in a lot of that stuff too. There's a lot of freedom, you take a lot of expectation that's put on ourselves, that we put on ourselves in a lot of ways on the daily for the houses that we
Seriously,
live in.
their needs
Yeah,
are being met. They don't have a house payment, mortgage insurance, taxes, vehicle payment, vehicle insurance. Like, there is a lot of freedom in that, and a lot of people choose that. So we've got to be mindful of that too, is that some people that are in that situation, they are choosing to be in that situation.
yeah. I mean, obviously not everybody,
Not
but again,
everybody.
yeah, but again, it's like each person is that they've got their own highest self. They've got their own guides. They've got their own healing they've got to do. Each person. I mean, we've talked about, you can grow up with siblings in the same household, and each person could see things a different way from the upbringing that they had received. And it could be good or bad, or feel good or feel bad, however you want to look at it. All from the same, it's all everybody had lived in the same environment but had different experiences. So it's like we all have our own path. It's our own journey. And it's like if we're focused on us, we're on ourselves. Like I said, when we started out talking, getting to know myself. What do I want? What do I want to do? How am I? And it's not even just that stuff. How am I like stopping myself from doing these things? It's such a habit. It was brought to my attention earlier. We were talking about, a lot of times I'll leave things in the universe's hands whatever the universe chooses. Well, and then he's like, well, when are you going to start choosing? When are you going to start, making that path or whatever? And I see that because it's like I've been doing that for a long time. That letting things and almost letting someone else make the decisions for me instead of me making the decisions for myself, which is, it's just been a long time. But I'm learning that about myself, and it's not a bad thing. It's just something I think I want to change that.
When we think about what we desire, our wants, our and desires, our dreams, I find it important that we take the action steps to move in that direction. Are we going to encounter other things on the way? Absolutely. Absolutely. Some things are going to distract you. Some things are going to help you grow. Some things are going to, knock you off your seat, and you're going to have to take some time to recover. But keep moving in the direction of what your desires and dreams and goals are. This is what they tell you in business, and it actually applies to your own personal life, is create your day, because if you don't create it, somebody will. Decide what you're going to do with your time, because if you don't, somebody else will. And that's when you get those interruptions all the time. You get those people who, are you available to? And if you keep saying yes to all that, saying yes to everybody else, then that takes you from, it's a distraction from what your goals and dreams are to back to taking care of everybody else. To be in a position to be a better contributor to society, it's important for me to focus on growing my business, having a successful business, having prosperity. If I get distracted from that, then right, I'm going to take some steps back there, giving everybody else my attention. Now I have to come back over to my business and almost like restart, right? So it's a being aware of what it is you want to bring into your life, manifest into your life, and hold that vision, take action toward it. And when people are, they're in their own world and they have their own agenda, and they think, oh, well, Bev could help me with it. She did it before. Oh, Bev knows this. So then texts and calls, and there's times I have my phone next to me, but I don't, I can keep working and not answer it, not answer the text, not answer the phone calls, right? Because I gotta have some focus. And one of the things that is being shared now is it takes approximately 20 minutes. If let's say I'm working on my book. I'm working on my book and my phone goes off. So I'm right, get distracted. Now I'm in my phone and I'm doing all my stuff in my phone, and I set it back down. It's an average of 20 minutes for me to get back into where I was at the point of writing my book. So time management is very important as well. And I used to be the type of person where if somebody texts me or sent me a messenger at night, after 8, after 9, I would respond. I'm like, this is my time. I'm like, I've been working all day. I've been on a computer all day. My brain's been going all day, and it's 9 o'clock at night, and you're gonna send me a messenger. Hey, you got a minute? I got a minute for me. I got an hour for me before I go to bed. So I'll catch you in the morning. That's my thought. That's my brain working. I don't text that.
No.
So they get a response the next day when I'm ready.
Yeah. And I've been that way too. At first, when I started doing that, I felt defensive for my own time. Like I had to defend like who the hell does this? Who sends messages? Because I grew up, you never sent a message after.
Oh, I know.
You never
8
call anyone
o'clock.
after 9 o'clock. Well,
8
see, mine was
o'clock.
9. And then in the morning, you would never call anybody till after 9. Like
Yeah.
it was that time frame.
Yeah.
So I get a message and it would like irritate me. I mean, I've had clients call me up and thankfully I've set my phone up on do not disturb now. So I only have it for my family to contact me in case of emergency or whatever. Then it'll come through on the do not disturb. But it's like I get phone calls from people at 6:45 in the morning. Hey, I want to go ahead and change my appointment, or, I mean, I understand that people have their timings and stuff to do things, but to me, that's just not honoring someone else's time. To me, it's like set an alarm in your phone and then contact the person at an appropriate time. I will never contact someone on the weekend to do business, to set up a massage, you can call a doctor's office all weekend long and you'll leave them voice messages. But there's just those things. It's just like, it's honoring time. And I was this, for a while I was answering messages that were late, and then I would just get irritated and defensive about it. And then now I'm just like, I got messages from people last night. And it's like, I think it was at 7:30. I didn't get any of them because to me, this is my time. I'm in the evening. This is my time to do my thing.
And I just go back to everybody else. Everybody else has their own agenda. And if I think about something, I need to do it right now, because if I don't, I'm going to forget. Right. But like you said, set an alarm. And I set alarms for everything.
Right on a piece of paper.
And so, yeah, I didn't get defensive. I would get frustrated, a little irritated. But then, then I remember, what?
Yeah.
They're probably just doing it now so they remember. So what I'll do is I won't even read the message, because if I read the message, then the little, like you have one message, the little numbers, they'll go away. And if they go away, then out of sight, out of mind. So I won't go in and actually read the entire message, because I want that notification left on there. So I remember to respond.
And I totally get it. I totally get it. That was my past responses for it, for sure. Yeah. I mean, for sure, that's just how I felt. But like at the time, I felt like I had to defend my time. There was a lot of stuff going on in my life that even like in family members, that was like there was no boundaries. And it's like I felt like I was I felt like this warrior with the sword all the time, trying to like hold back all of these people. Like, man, just leave me alone. I could be sick, and then some people in the family be like, hey, my neck's hurting. Can I come over in the morning so you can massage my neck? I'll pay you. I'm sick. It only take you a couple of minutes. That was family.
No.
So that was, that's long. That's the growth that I've had already.
Yeah.
It's like all these things, and you know, we keep wanting to evolve, you know, a lot of us wanting to evolve to another phase, but we're not appreciating where we're at, because we were talking about this recently too. And it's just like noticing in a relationship or with your friends how there's the communication's different, like there's more of a telepathy thing going on, and it's happening all the time.
Oh
And it
man.
happens, but if you don't stop and appreciate those things and give it an awareness, it's like you're missing everything that you're learning, because there's so it's all the little things that we're learning. It's like that
That's
might have been
good.
things that I asked for, and it's like now it's coming to me, and I'm not appreciating what's coming to me, because I mean, it does all the time. But now I'm in a place where, thank you. Okay, cool. I am growing. I'm not in this one stuck place that it felt like I was at. This whole time I've been changing. And it's funny that you brought up, you know, people contacting you, because I've had, hey, Bev, you got a few minutes? Because I know if I run this by you, you'll understand, and then I'll be able to make a better decision for myself. And it's like it's interesting how sometimes, and it's not because anyone means to be the way that that's just their growth right now, that I've had to learn that that's not to take it personal, because then it's like when I needed something, or I needed to talk about something, that person was unavailable or unresponsive or no showed, or you know, whatever it was, no showed in as far as the relationship, you know, make arrangements and then they just disappear or whatever off the face of the planet until the next time that they need something. And that's okay, because that's their, like I said, that's their journey. Before I would have taken it personal, and now I'm like, I just step back and I'm like, okay, well, and then again, it's like asking, why is this showing up in my experience? How am I not giving myself this attention? How am I showing up for other people? And really, I feel like most of the time it just boils down to, how are you showing up for yourself?
That's one of the things we're working on in one of our mastermind groups, is that it's called, I didn't know it was called this, but I've been doing it for a long time. I've talked about it several times. Shadow work.
No,
And the shadow work is to, when you recognize that when somebody irritates you, frustrates you, makes you angry, uncomfortable, whatever that might be, you know, you write that out. What is it about them that is stirring this up within myself? And then see it from a higher perspective, right? They're doing what they know how to do. That's their programming. I don't know their childhood experiences, right? It's not making excuses. It's just helping me kind of check myself, like, hey, they have their own journey and this is how they know how to show up.
yeah,
And it's my deal that I'm getting triggered by it, right? And then also in that, you know, you see the qualities, because everybody has some really good qualities. Even when they're triggering you, they got some really good qualities. And in all of that, you take your name and you take their name out of the equation and put your name in it. Holy hell, right? It's like an eye opener, and you're just like, wow.
it's truth. Because
Yeah.
everything is the aspect of us. Like if you think about it in that way, it's like it's always showing up for you. This is you showing up for you. Everything is. It's okay. Well, you ask for this growth. You want to change. You want to evolve. Okay. But I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you you. How have you shown up? You know, I mean, and that's come up for me a lot. Is I'm witnessing it, and I'm like, okay, I've been that way. I've been that person. I felt that way. I wonder why it's still showing up. You know, do I still feel this way? Just so many different things, because it, like you said, it's shadow work. And I've heard that saying before too. It's just, we're just looking at ourselves really, and that's getting to know yourself. It's back to the same thing, getting to know yourself, so you can you can keep things or change things. It's totally up to you.
Yeah. And I've been doing that since I was my last corporate job. So, because that's when I was introduced to, you know, this, what I just went over. I didn't know, again, it was called shadow work, or, you know, people come up with different titles for it. I just knew that I was being triggered. There was a reason why I was being triggered. There was something underlying in me that needed some attention and some healing. And I knew because it was introduced to me through this stuff I was learning, that people also have these qualities. So that goes along with gratitude, right? You want to focus on the qualities and be grateful for those qualities, because if I'm seeing that, it's in me also. And I'm like, man, because I really had a supervisor I didn't really care for in the beginning. And so I had to take a look at it. Well, it was triggering some childhood stories, her behavior and the do it my way because it's the way, and no, no leeway, no means of having your own creativity or, doing it differently. But the qualities was, she was confident. She stood her ground. She was confident standing her ground. She made decisions and I lacked all of that. And so I was being triggered by that and knowing that what she was portraying to me, I had in me. And then expressing the gratitude. Thank you for showing me that. Right? Thank you for showing up in my life for me to recognize these things. And I did that. There was about 6 or 7 key people that were in and out of the office, or some were in the office. And I did that with every one of them. And I did this, 8 years ago. And every one of those people I was doing that with, I'm like, why are they triggering me? I'm working. I'm doing my job, but I'm like, why is this person triggering me? What are their qualities? Why am I great? Why should I be grateful for them? And I think about it a lot of throughout the day. So that helped me a lot. Like, okay, well, now I see, in 4 people in this office, how confident they are, and they're all demonstrating it to me. I want confidence. Well, here you go. Right? I'm showing it to you. Universe says, I'm showing it to you. What are you going to do with it?
Yeah, because you can cultivate it and make it the way you want, because they may not be bringing over the confidence the way you would do, but it's an energy. So the word, even the word confidence, but if you pull that energy in, and then you can go through with confidence in a different way, just like you talked about before with having a desire. Well, you weren't really wanting to do a business, or maybe not necessarily not wanting to do a business,
be a teacher or a speaker.
But then not having an idea of how you were going to do. You didn't want to be this big person with all this, this business and stuff, and be perceived a certain way, and then realize, well, I can do it differently. I don't have to be perceived that way.
Right.
And then however someone perceives you is their stuff anyways. It has nothing to do with you.
Right.
So all day long we're creating. So you're talking about all that stuff in that way, but it's like, even in the fact that if we are talking about it, we're giving our attention to it, we're creating. If we're looking at something and it's got our attention, we're creating. Even it brings us into the now, but it's like, what are you being aware of? So I was talking to Freeman recently, and I was talking like, hey, do you ever notice when you're talking to someone, you might notice that they have wrinkles around their eyes, or the way the light hits them, or the way their hairline is, or, do you notice these things? Because I notice it, I'll catch myself. And sometimes it's not, I would say it's not in a positive manner, but it's like we're creating. And it's like, are you wanting to create that experience in your experience? Honestly, so you go back to the vision board. If you're looking at something all the time, if I'm looking at something that has young, vibrant, tight, firmer skin, and I'm looking at that every day, well, there's no way I could be anything else but. Unless we're doing the pulling on the opposite side of that stick again, and going and looking in the mirror and looking at everything up so super close, and like, man, what the hell happened to you, girl? Like, what?
Well, we got 20 more lines going on there.
That's right. But it doesn't have to be that way. I don't feel like it has to be that way. I feel like we're creating all the time. And if you have an awareness to what you're noticing throughout the day, because that's part of your creativity right there, you're creating from that space. You're creating an I don't want and I want. And the I don't want still creates what you're going to have, because you're giving your attention to it. So it's like constantly throughout the day, it's like we're like these, we talk about even words like I've listened to people talk about magic, right? When you create a spell, Our words are spells. Everything that we're saying is a magic spell. All of it. We are creating all freaking day long with every part of our antenna that we possibly can. What we're listening to, what we're speaking, what we're looking at, what we're feeling, everything, our thoughts, like everything is creating this masterpiece that you've created. Whether you like looking at that masterpiece or not is a whole nother story, because the only one that can change it is us. So it goes back to, again, like, what are you listening to? What are you looking at? For me, it's like I can,
How are you speaking? What are your words?
yeah. And it's not even just to yourself, it's to yourself and to everybody else too. And it's like little simple things, like even like I say on the highway, because like I'm on the highway a lot, but it's like, I might be like, you stupid, oh, I hope you have a great freaking day. Because I'm catching myself, I'm like, and as soon as I start thinking about someone that kind of it felt was an uncomfortable conversation that we might have had, or
Yep.
I start processing, I'm like, I'm sending you love and light. And then it's
Yep.
funny because when I start doing that, then another person pops in, another person. So I start sending everybody love and light. I'm just sending you all, hey, I'm sending you love and light. Instead of going through the whole process, or I might even call them a few names, and I'm like, oh, wait a minute, I'm sending you love and light.
Sending you love and light. Have a great fucking day.
That's right. That's right. That's exactly it. Now you know.
Now you know. This is the way our brain works. Have a peaceful day.
That's right. That's right. Wait, there's supposed to be two up there. That's right. Give me a minute. My attitude's catching on.
Yeah. My new programming's kicking in. You know,
that's
just
right.
give me
That's
a second
right.
here.
You saw the old to the new. Welcome to my transformation.
That's right. Transforming with Amie and Bev. Here we go.
That's right. That's right.
Stick with us. We'll help you.
Yeah. The next class we'll have is transform this, with attitude.
Right. How to transform the attitude.
That's
oh,
right.
Goodness, that's great. So I have a fun little thing I wanted to share. We talked about this is like I'm switching subjects now and topics. So because I really want to share this. This just cracked me up. And I'm telling you, this isn't something I made up. This you could make it up, but I didn't make this up. This just cracked me up so much. So we talked about the doing the 12-month card spread.
Yes.
Okay. So I have my 12 months laid out, and so I picked 2 cards. One is has more words on it, and then I pick another from another deck, and it has one, like a word or a couple words on it. And so for February, okay, my card, the words on it were a successful time, confidently accepting opportunities you're offered, the Midas touch. Okay. Now, Midas touch means the ability to make everything very successful. Okay, cool, right? And I tell you, I read these every morning, like for the 3 months. So now I'm reading February, March, April, February, March, and April. Those are the 3 months I'm reading. And so in March, I'll read March, April, May. Okay. So we're in February. So I'm reading these 3 months every morning. Driving down the road the other day. I'm a numbers girl. So I noticed, I get every license plate typically has numbers on it, but there are certain numbers that just pop, right? You're in that moment and the number's like, hey, you need to pay attention to me. So this truck's in front of me, and on the license plate, it has 77. And then there's like a letter and 11. Well, 11 is for manifesting. It's like really pay attention to your mindset, what your thoughts are, because when you see ones, and the more ones in progression, like it's happening very quickly. And we've been talking about that a lot lately. So the ones I get, 7's not a number I normally see. So it was 77. I was like, I need to look that up. Ready? Got you guys sit down for this one. So if you're listening to this, just sit down because this is great. 77 according to the angel numbers book that I have here. Keep up the great work. Everything you're doing right now has the Midas touch.
Nice.
Some or what? It's just
That's
like
confirmation.
I had no idea what sevens mean. You know, I'm just like, that is something I can't make up. And trust me, I don't have time to go flipping through the book looking for those specific words so I can write it down. I don't have time for that. So I just wanted to share with that. Like numbers, the angels are sending us messages all the time. And when we give attention to it and listen and pay attention, we get great messages like this, like confirming or guiding. And it's awesome. And that's how fun and easy it can be.
All day long, all day long. But a lot of it depends on, and I say but, because a lot of it depends on where you're at in your energy. If you're irritated and angry and depressed or grieving or any of those things, that's your awareness isn't, it's not even tuned into any of that stuff. You're tuned in on a different channel, completely different. I mean, completely different.
Yeah.
You can't hear all that stuff. You can't receive it from the radio station that you're currently on. It's just not even possible. Yeah.
Yeah, because if you're flipping off somebody out of anger in traffic, you're missing, I would have, missed that license plate and those numbers, or, the opportunity to go around somebody because I'm so fit in my anger that I don't see that there's an opening for me to go around, right? To do something different. And I think, we do that. We get so caught up in our heavy emotions that we lose the opportunity to do something different, or to see how to do something different, receive the guidance to do something different. And I'm telling you, more we give attention to our intuitive guidance, our GPS system, spiritual GPS system, the being in the present moment. Like, I'm having a good time right now. Like, my declaration at 40 was, my life is going to get better and better each and every day. And it has, and it keeps getting better, and it gets more playful and more fun. And so I'm living a pretty good life right now. And all my needs are met.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Thinking about it, it's like even driving on the road, sometimes someone gets in front of you that maybe they're driving a little bit slower. Well, that vehicle slowed down in front of you for a reason. It slowed you down to keep you out of maybe perhaps an accident. Maybe you were autopiloting and you're not being present. There's a message on that license plate. There's a bumper sticker on that vehicle. There's you know what I mean? There's something, there is always something. It's like we're constantly receiving messages everywhere we go. And we don't always have to look it up because we have that internal guidance again. But when we're freshly on this path and stuff, a lot of times it helps to be looking up all those numbers. It helps to go back to them over and over and over again. Like with tarot cards, hardly ever do I go back inside the book and look at what it's telling me. If it's got a few words on the outside of it and I look at the card, something hits me different than would even be in their writing. And it's like, we've got this internal guidance, this information that's flowing all the time. And really what's happening is it's slowing you down to be aware of what this guidance is telling you. Instead of that you're just running willy-nilly out there and thinking you have to go do everything and plow through the whole world and, accomplishment. And there's just so much more to all that. It's just slowing down so you can hear all those messages that are constantly guiding you. Not that your speed's going to go perhaps any differently, because when you're following your guidance, it's like boom, 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 boom. You're constantly moving through it. So you're getting more stuff done than you would ever get done driving with the brakes on, thinking that you've got to control everything and plow through everything. And this is the only way that things are going to get done. That's right. Exactly. That's exactly it. And it doesn't have to be that way. Like I said, when you're in that space to receive, and it feels so good. And sometimes I've gotten irritated in the past because it's like, God dang it, why am I feel like I'm so disconnected. I'm not connected right now. I don't know what, this is pissing me off. And it's like, then I'm a victim to myself of not being connected. So it's just a little bit of a journey, but they're little blips when they show up. And it's like, okay, I see what you're doing to yourself, girl.
I see you.
It doesn't have to be this way.
That's right. I was experiencing that yesterday. Dang it, man. I was doing something and I had to keep redoing it and redoing it and redoing it. And then I did something and I knocked my business card holder down. I was just like, what the hell? And I bent down to pick up my business card and it said, you didn't get grounded today. I was like, you're right. I didn't. I hear you.
Well, yeah, 'cause then you got all tied up in your head, right? This do, and yeah. And that
So
goes back to the
funny.
thing. We all have these things that we do, no matter how far elevated you are on your path, you're still going to have these blips because it helps to redefine where you're giving your attention. And then that's, you're putting your attention outside of yourself instead of taking a few moments just to ground yourself.
Yeah,
Just
it was one
stuff
of
like
those
that.
mornings where I had just I had a break in my routine, meaning I didn't do things the way like do this, then this, then this, then this. I did this and then I went and did this and knowing I was going to get it all done. But in that, I hadn't done my grounding process and it showed up. I was like, I get you. I hear you.
The old autopilot. Yeah.
Yeah.
The old
So
autopilot of getting things done, which is awesome because you wouldn't have, if you didn't have an awareness, you wouldn't see how fun this is because it's not something, it's not like, oh God, here I go again. It's nothing like that. It's like, oh, okay, well, that's easy. I can fix this real quick.
yeah, got it. Sit your ass down and get grounded.
That's right. That's right.
That's awesome. Love it.
Me too.
Love it. I've been on it's called a paleo cleanse. So it's just cleaning out the system. It's a 2-week thing, 14 days.
Oh yeah.
I kind of talked to about it last week and my husband's like, so what are you noticing? It's like, what are you noticing doing this? I said, you know what? I'm actually noticing I have a lot more energy. So a couple things I've changed. One is back at the gym. So being consistent with that, getting up early. I've been getting up early. So even today I got up even a little earlier. So I was at the gym at 5 a.m. this morning and doing this cleanse. I'm sleeping like a baby and I'm loving it. So I had to make a change, right? It was one of those things. There's got to be something to change. Sleeping till 7 a.m. and then doing your thing all day. And then, I was noticing that typically we go to bed at about 10. I wasn't tired. So then I would lay there for an hour or two trying to go to sleep. And yeah, getting up earlier, solve that problem. Had to make a change and I did. And when I don't work out or move my body, I definitely feel it. Like I notice it.
It makes a lot of sense. And then cleansing the body because this cleanse, is it for like specific for like metals or anything like that? Or is it like just more of a cleansing of the liver or
Yeah, the organs.
the organs?
Yeah.
Because it holds on to a lot of stuff. So that goes back to the whole energy thing, right?
Yeah.
Because we hold on to a lot of energy and it's like carrying, or it's like being a hoarder inside of your body, holding
Right.
on to all the stuff, all these experiences that you've had throughout your whole life and holding them in all these places, which are our organs and, our cells. And it's kind of an interesting thing. And then you start going through that process.
Yeah. So it's been helping me a lot because even before I wasn't sleeping very well because of hot flashes and I've been sleeping all night. Like
And that's
I sleep so long in one side, like because I'm a side sleeper. So I sleep so long on one side, my ear hurts. So I have to roll over.
nice.
I'm like, this is great.
That's awesome.
Oh, friends, thanks for hanging out with us.
Yes.
Tea time with Amie and Bev. You know somebody who needs to hear some of this stuff, so please be sure to share it with them. And we're found on many platforms: Facebook, YouTube, Google Podcast, Podcast Addict, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Spreaker. And you can contact us through email. So amieandbev@gmail.com. So this is our words of wisdom, what works for us in our life. And if it works for you, great. If it doesn't work for you, great. Whatever works for you is what works for you. We're all figuring it out, right?
We are. Appreciate your week.
Absolutely.
Really appreciate every moment.
Yes. In the moment. Lots of appreciation. It's 11:01 on my clock, and I'm saying manifestations are amazing.
Yes, they are.
All right, my friends, thank you for hanging out with us. We'll see you next week.
Have a wonderful week.